Oman, and strikes on Dubai's airport and luxury hotels throughout the United Arab Emirates. Today, Israel striking inside Lebanon. DFAT estimates 115,000 Australians are in the region, including Australian troops on secondment with the US military. These strikes have closed the airspace around Qatar and the UAE, two crucial hubs for global travel, particularly Australians heading to and from Europe. Right now, Iran's president, chief justice and a senior cleric are running the country as a trio as the country's assembly of experts chooses a new supreme leader with input from the brutal Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC.
Utopia would be that there's regime change, Iranian people are free, thankfully. Scary would be IRGC taking over, even scarier sectarian violence and a power vacuum. Those are really the three options, unfortunately, in front of us.
By attacking their neighbours, Iran is isolating itself in its own region, eliminating any sympathy in the Middle East and increasing the chance of a wider war. But Donald Trump says this campaign is a 4-week process and there'll be no US boots on the ground, meaning the president is relying on the Iranian people overthrowing what's left of a heavily armed and heavily agitated regime. And like so much tonight, that's no guarantee.
All right, Charles, thank you. We have breaking news now out of Kuwait. A US F-15 fighter jet appears to have crashed near an American airbase. Video shared online shows the pilot ejecting before the plane plummets to the ground. There's been no immediate official confirmation from the United States. Thousands of Australians are tonight stranded in the Middle East, our government conceding there's little that can be done with airspace being closed. Meantime, a Sydney mosque has been slammed for mourning the death of Iran's supreme leader, the Premier describing the move as atrocious.
A brutal dictator who the Prime Minister said will not be mourned, but a Sydney mosque has begun 3 days of prayer for Ayatollah Khamenei, hailed not as a murderer but as a martyr.
You eternalize yourself as a hero.
A sermon not about his sins but his legacy.
A man of knowledge, intelligent, patient, wise, forbearing, visionary, charismatic, kind.
I think it's atrocious. I mean, by any objective measure, the Ayatollah was evil.
And that evil is still being felt by Iranians and their families in Australia. Bapa Nikba's cousin was killed by the regime during mass protests in January. Cruelly, who's still in charge, demanding money before handing over his body.
When they trying to get a body from the government, they requesting to get money for the bullet.
As the conflict continues to spread, 11,000 Australians are now estimated to be either stranded in the war zone or stuck in transit. Trina Hockley from northern New South Wales is in Doha.
At the airport, it was pandemonium. We could hear the missiles. I guess the main thing is absolute lack of communication from anybody. Nobody talks to us, there's just nothing.
Sydney Bishop Anthony Randazzo witnessed the blast in Dubai Airport.
About midnight, there was an enormous explosion, and that was a direct hit from a missile that hit the airport.
He was en route to Rome for a meeting with the Pope.
Well, as you and I speak, I should have been sitting one-to-one with Pope Leo, so you're the substitute for today, and I'm very glad to be speaking with you.
The federal government conceding it's helpless to step in.
Our capacity to provide much assistance is limited.
The airspace shutdown has left a growing fleet of aircraft sitting idle at Sydney Airport. And fears the war in the Middle East might inflame tensions here has seen police step up patrols in Sydney's eastern suburbs. Schools monitored on the ground and in the air. Fought on the other side of the world, but its impact felt far and wide. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Australians could end up paying a hefty price at the Bowser. Fears tonight.